Hello and welcome everyone to Race Report episode number 5 already. Together with my Powerslide friend and teammate Bart Swings, who will join us any second, and myself, Felix Rijhnen. We are talking every weekend about the races where we would have normally been taking the start line. And this weekend, there he is. Hey Bart. This weekend it would have been the Holland-Cup in Heerde, Netherlands. Previously it was also called the Heerde Skate-Off, I think it was. Right, Bart?
Yeah, I see that to start the camera.
Okay.
Yes, Heerde Skate-Off. I think first edition was when we had the European Championships in 2007 as juniors. I think as a preparation or like a how do they call it, like a head start or a trial before that European Championships. They started that race, and I remember like a lot of Italians and French skaters already came there to test the track, because it used to be a very tricky track, concrete parabolic track. So yeah, it was the first edition. I think was already a pretty nice one, and I also remember it was also pretty interesting for the prize money. They really started from if you compare it to Cross-Gerau and to Geisingen and Trappist, you just race for the trophy, and it's very nice, of course, too. And there's a lot of history in those trophies, and but I think the Skate-Off in Heerde were the first ones for a track race to put some prize money on the victory too.
Right. Because as you said, Heerde really isn't one of the most longest running competitions. But it still became quite important over the years, and in quite a short time, and probably that from the start they put some good prize money also helped them with raising their pedigree. And obviously also in Heerde over the years there were so many international competitions. Both of us, we had a European Championship, Junior Championship there in 2007, and I still remember us racing the 500 meter final and the 1K final together, and that was pretty cool.
I got a video from the 500.
Really? You have a video? Please.
Yes.
Show
I
us.
have a video. I have to warn you, it's really bad quality for everybody who's watching, but
it's okay.
It was 2007, so it's a while
13 years ago, the quality wasn't as good.
So me and Felix in the final with 4. So of course European Championships, 2 Italians are with us in the final, and here we go. This is the start. Of course, I was not the greatest starter.
But you're in the front.
I'm leading. I'm in the front. I think something went wrong at the start.
First corner, diving in, obviously.
Diving in. I stay up. Try to make speed up there. Yeah. It's a beautiful track to race.
It was.
1 lap to go here.
Look at this gap already. Swingsy, the old sprinter.
I have some junior European Championship titles in the 500. Yeah, it was a special moment for sure.
Really cool one. Really good one. Nice that you found the video, because actually from those years I couldn't find much footage, to be honest, or only pictures, which were so bad I didn't even want to show them.
I still have pictures also at my parents' home from those races, especially from this start. I have a picture at home from my mom who took it, I think. And there you see also, like, I think the Italian bumps into you, and that's why I have the lead after a 100 meter, because usually I'm not the best starter.
But anyways, I still remember you back then. You knew how to skate a track like this, a parabolic track. And personally, I had no idea. Like, really, it started already with wheel choice. Like, back then, okay, I didn't have a huge repertoire to choose from, but if I look back now about which wheels I used and stuff, it was crazy. And actually that year I got 2 medals on the track, and both medals were in 500 and 1K, and in the long distance I had no chance. And looking back now, this was not because I didn't train well or anything, just because I didn't know how which wheels I should use for the long distance. And in the sprints I just put something soft, so on that old track it kind of still worked. It kind of still worked, but crazy if I look back now.
I remember in those days, like as a junior, in Heerde I thought a lot about it. I remember it was really hard to choose for the wheels, because in this race I was on maybe some watchers who used to race at that point. You had the Coca-Cola and PC wheel. It was firm, was super soft wheel actually, so it was good for grip. And I think it was more for the full sprinters, but I used to race on them mixed with the X-Firm wheels. But for the long distance, I don't even remember what I was skating on, and it was really hard back then to choose the wheels.
Yeah, that's true.
But I didn't think too much about it, because it's the same year that I had my first World Championships, 2007, and I remember being in Cali. I bought before the World Championships some sets, some medals. I think the same setup that you were using, yellow with the code red.
Exactly.
And it was the only wheels I had, so I was racing with them at the World Championships. So turned out good, but still
worked out pretty well. That's what I was about to say.
True.
That World Championship was a special one. I mean, for you it was the first one. For me it was the second one. But the first time racing in Colombia, and this was really an experience I wouldn't want to miss, and that's why I was so looking forward to go back to Colombia this year, because the World Championship was supposed to be again in Colombia. I mean, it's still kind of planned, it's still on the schedule, but we will see if it really is going to happen or not.
Yeah, let's hope. But the racing in Colombia is the most beautiful, I think. And I still remember also Cali was, for me was the first World Championship, and didn't know what to expect at all. So I just, you go there and there's so many people, and
crazy.
It's one of the best memories I think I have from skating. That first World Championship in Colombia.
Same for me. As a junior, I remember, like during the races, going to the track or getting out of the track, it took like 45 minutes just because everybody asked you for an autograph and for your signature and for a picture. And back then, probably until then, I gave in my life maybe like 5 autographs. And there, every day, it was like 100. And at some point, you just had to say, no, sorry, I have to go. And the people there, the passion for the sport, that's just something I love about Colombia. Like the best country to be as an inline speed skater. That's just a matter of fact. And
I remember having a World Championships. I don't know if it was when I had my first medal there or when I won, but it was just junior, so I was not a big star or anything, but I had doping control. It took ages. It was like 11 or 12 o'clock at night that I finished. And then we go outside the stadium, and there's still people waiting for autographs and walking with you towards the bus. It was
unreal.
A special moment. Unreal. Really unreal.
Cool. Yeah. But let's get back to Heerde. I have one video from 2009. Again, it's not the best quality, but it's basically I want to show it because it shows also how dominant you were on that track, especially on the old track. I think old parabolic,
for sure.
no coding or anything, and I think we saw it just from your video. As a junior, you were already a class above most others. And basically that continued also in the senior categories. That's why I show this video from 2009.
2009. Oh, that's a long time ago.
Back then,
I was still racing with Shane. Shane is
in the. Yeah.
I think he learned me, especially in this race, but in many races, really a lot how to skate on the track. He learned me and Marty and Ferre. Really, you can see here we're racing as a team. And
and then look at this, just basically choosing a moment to leaving everyone else behind, together with Ferris Pruitt, obviously.
Yeah. I just had to follow.
Yeah, but still, I mean, the people there, they are not Barneys. They are some of the best in the world, and to be able to celebrate a victory like this, that's quite special, I think. And I mean, I admire you for the way you skate on parabolic tracks anyways. Like for me, that's you can take lines and you can skate in places where I don't even think about going. No, that's honest truth. And I think especially that old Heerde track before it got changed, before it got coated with West Marco. You were just a class above everything else. I just see a comment from Skating Sisters. That video was stolen from you. Thanks a lot. I hope we don't get in any copyright problems. But we talked about it last week. It's really hard to find old footage, especially from those years. I mean, 10 years ago or even more. That's we are quite thankful that there's.
It's nice if we have
that we have videos from, for example, Skating Sisters, and you should go check them out on YouTube, and I guess they have a website too. So try to find them.
Sure they use it.
Yeah,
the reason I really like to skate on the parabolic tracks, and I think one of the reasons is that we are kind of a new generation, that we are more used to skate on the West Marco tracks. And I think the generations before us, like if you saw sometimes Yankee Adair racing on those tracks, and Alexis Contain, like they're 5 years older or more than us, and they really raced so many races on that. And I think I learned a lot from my coach Jelle and Ferre. They are actually also, they were from the generation before, and we used to go every year to Italy in April, having a training camp on Italian tracks, and it was not just it was in Spinea, close to Venice. And they didn't have one track there, not two, but there were like 4 tracks, all parabolic, all a little bit different, with 20 minutes apart from each other. So every day we skated on a different track, and it started when I was 13 or 14 years old. Then I was allowed to go on those training camps, and of course, you learn so much in those camps, and how to skate lines, and how you have to stay up, and those tracks are also pretty similar to Heerde. And I think if you go back into in the days where Massi Presti, for example, was skating, and Luca Presti, especially the Italians, they are really used to skating on tracks like that.
They are born on those tracks, basically.
Really. And also some French guys, of course. I think the track who's closest to Heerde is Valence d'Agen, and from Trappist. So but we in Belgium, and I don't think that you have some in Germany either. So
I have an indoor which is parabolic, but that's everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it is. It's still pretty slippery, but I know those stories from you, and that's kind of why the German national team last year kind of copied those training camps from you. And we went last year in preparation for the World Championship. We actually went to Scaltenigo, so same region, same area, and I skated also Scaltenigo, Spinea, and one of
Marghera.
There I wasn't. I was also on the covered track, 166 meters, also parabolic. and on a couple of different road circuits. But I mean, okay, I was there now when I was 28 years old, and it would have been a good idea to do that a little bit earlier. My old coach, Roland Klöß, with him we used to go to Martin Sicuro. So also quite a tricky, quite a cool track.
Yes.
Also 166 meters parabolic, quite next to the beach.
I have some good memories from there.
Yeah, okay, nice.
This was my first European champion title in Scaltenigo. In Martin Sicuro.
Was it?
Cool. So I really love to skate there.
Awesome.
Yeah. It's the one next to San
Benedetto,
Benedetto,
right? It's quite close. It's
really close.
Maybe 5-6 kilometers from San Benedetto, something like this. Yeah. I think it's a huge advantage if you're growing up on those tracks, or at least if you go there regularly. Even though the racing changed now with standard 200 meter Vesmaco tracks, but then on the other hand, also World Skate, our global federation, they kind of opened up the rules a bit recently. So now a World Championship can also be held on a parabolic track again, which was not the case for many years. And normally last year the World Championship in Barcelona was supposed to be on a parabolic track. In the end, it wasn't. But it was still a very special track, so...
It was a very special track, yeah. I just read in the comments that my little nephews are saying hi. Hey, Tobias and Simon and Flores.
Cool.
So, missing those guys, of course, with everything that's going on.
They are watching.
It's great they are watching.
Awesome. Yes. Not bedtime yet, so it's okay.
No, not yet.
Okay, let's get back to Heerde a little bit. Many international races, obviously. For me, it started 2007 with the Junior European Championships. Then there was 2 times the Senior European Championship as well. And obviously also 2 years ago, the World Championship, 2018. Which also was, I guess, for both of us, pretty successful successful worlds, maybe not necessarily on the track.
Maybe not on the track, no.
Not on the track, but anyways. I think I'll just show another video, which again, it's from the old track before it got a coating. This was when we were already teammates. I think it's 2013, if I'm not mistaken. Have a look at this.
I think, I know this race. It was maybe one of the most crazy races or years that I've skated in Heerde, I think. It was a very strong field. A lot of the Colombian national team was there. EO Skates team was there with Fabio, Nolan, Paxi. And then solo skater Alexis Conte. Yeah. I was racing there too.
Brisbane,
and we had
Perez, Cifuentes, and now we see both guys, Owen Fernandez and Bart, basically just.
It's an elimination race for everybody, so it doesn't happen quite often that you just take off during a limb.
Exactly.
But we were feeling pretty strong.
Almost lapping the pack. And then you just gave Owen a little tap and said, "Hey,
we're good.
Enough. We can take a rest now."
I think that was one of the craziest years, and I'm not sure, but maybe it's also the same year that I, maybe one of the only times that I lapped the pack in a race.
Could be.
And I think it's the same year, and that shows I just really love to skate on that track. And but it was in a points race, not on this limb, of course.
No, but for me also. I mean, I was in that race, and I remember Farrell, Marty, and me. I think we did also a pretty good job, at least in the beginning, keeping you guys out of trouble
sure.
and leading a lot. But in the end, like you and Owen Fernandez, old teammate of us, nowadays skating for rollerblade. You were just a class above everyone else, and you have to think about all those names we just mentioned. They are some of the best track skaters in the world, and then you two guys almost lapped everyone in the elimination race, and that was just very, very special. and
I think we just had also like we had a strong team, but also one of the greatest atmospheres. I think.
For sure.
In the team with my brother Farah, you, Ewan, and I think also back then Michael Cheeks was
I don't know
joining
if it was,
in the spring
I don't
events.
know if it was that year or a year before, a year after, but for sure he was there. Also, that was also one of the really fun years.
Yeah, so much fun, and you can see it shows also in the results and on the track that you just get stronger by it.
Definitely. Especially for a race like this, team spirit is so important that you sacrifice each other for each other. And there's one of our teammates, Timothy Lumino, just saying hi. And
hey man, I hope he's recovered from yesterday.
I hope so too. Yeah, for the listeners, yesterday we had a virtual race on our bikes through Swift, and it was good fun. And Timothy was there, Jason was there, Bart and me as well. And I think we went pretty deep. We hammered ourselves pretty hard. But at the same time, it's fun to do it with the mates and to get a bit competitive during those times.
Yeah, it was really fun yesterday because we also had a Zoom call with everybody, so we could watch each other suffering, and it was nice to push it a little bit harder.
It was really fun, and obviously really strong performance from you again. 5 watts per kilogram. Over 40 minutes or something like this.
42, but I was not the first inline skater yesterday.
Juan Cruz Araldi from Argentina. He was actually second overall in that race and the best of the inline skaters. Really very impressive from him.
Yeah, very impressive, very strong, and he shows he can race really good on the bike and on Swift.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, we kind of switched already to workout of the week, I would say. Would you say that was your workout of the week yesterday?
Yeah. My week was pretty easy, a little bit more easy. I think we're training now since 6 or 7 weeks since I stopped. I had my break, so now I had a little bit easier week, and except for the 2 Swift races, of course, I felt it today also. I had some easy biking, and my legs were tired. Even yesterday, the second race of the weekend, the first race, the first day, Friday, I also had 5 watts per kilo, and then I felt like, okay, the race is not so hard. We're in a big bag, maybe it's gonna be tricky. Maybe the race has to be a little bit harder for selection. And then yesterday was same watts, and I was almost dying the whole race, so I felt a little bit tiredness from the day before.
I couldn't even do the same watts as the day before. I don't know if it was because I was skating also in the morning, but it's definitely a really tough workout we did there, or 2 very tough workouts, and still enjoyed it quite a lot. And
me too.
For me, I think my workout of the week was probably I did spend a couple of days in Bindlach at the Powerslide headquarters, and I went skating with our boss, with Matthias Knoll.
Matthias, yes.
The big boss of
you
Powerslide.
did a dead lap, or?
Yeah, we did a variation of the death lap, and was good fun again, and obviously there's really a lot to do there at the moment in the office and in the warehouse, and that's kind of why I was there also, to help out a bit, but Matthias still took the time to go skate with me.
Nice.
And obviously always a pleasure to go training with the big boss, and that was...
shows he really loves to skate. He really represents the image also.
Yeah, for sure, 100%. I mean, I probably don't know a single person who loves to skate as much as Matthias.
As much as me.
And that was really fun, and I really enjoyed that. And I still wanted to share a story with you about Heerde. Kind of forgot about it, but I just drop it in now. and basically it was a year where I did only 1 day of the Heerde race, because it was because I raced on Sunday morning, I think it was. Obviously, 1st of May, I raced the marathon in Frankfurt. You've done it before as well.
Yes.
So
yes.
It's always together with the cycling race, and quite a demanding course, and pretty hard, pretty hilly.
Nice organization also with the cyclists. Yeah.
Definitely, it's one of the special and cool marathons, I would say. Not the most not the most easy course, but anyways, it's good fun there. And I was in the team with Scott and with Kalen, and I think it was the year before we actually became teammates. Not 100% sure.
2012, then I guess.
Yeah, I think so.
No, 2011. 2011, I think.
Maybe 2011 it was. I always get confused with the years.
2012, same with me.
Anyway, so it was one of the last years of Scott, and somehow I got in the breakaway, and I wasn't really the leader for the race, but somehow it worked out, and I was there together with 2 Swissies. So Roger Schneider and Ackermann.
Yeah, I know them. Yeah.
And got in the breakaway. The guys were leading quite hard, so I just went with them. And at some point it was obvious, okay, we the breakaway is gonna go to the finish. Then the last 5K or so, those guys, they just attacked me constantly.
One-on-one.
One after another. So I chased everything down, and somehow managed to bring it to a sprint. And the finish is quite tricky. So it's like coming to a slide downhill, a little bit right-hand corner, and
from
then
the highway.
The highway, basically exit of the highway, kind of. And then just 100 meters flat or something like this, and it was Roger Schneider who was leading out the sprint, and I was behind him. And obviously Roger was always a huge, massive guy, with I don't know, over 2 meters big, tall, and 100 kilograms or something was his weight.
Even for you, big guy.
I felt really small, and I thought, okay, I'm in a good position to stay behind him, but through the downhill, and then we had also wind in the back, he got so fast that rarely I got him. So in the end I passed him, in the end I got him. And probably we should mention that Roger unfortunately died this year. Yeah. So one of the big figures of the sport, unfortunately not with us anymore.
He still has the fastest time ever on a marathon, I think. It's a downhill marathon, of course, but he still has the fastest time. So it was incredible as a skater, also as an ice skater. He was one of the guys who made the switch from inline to ice. So one of the big guys.
Yeah. So long story short. I managed to win that race, and then Scott and me sat straight away in the car and drove from Frankfurt to Heerde.
I think I remember. I think I remember that because I thought the whole weekend is maybe Scott is not racing me.
And and then it was like, okay, I won the marathon, so obviously on track back then Scott was definitely my leader. I was driving him for like 4.5 hours straight after marathon. When that was tough. Went to Heerde, and then we arrived, and I told Scott like, I don't know if I can really help you tonight in the elimination race. I'm pretty tired. And he was like, no, you'll be okay. You're strong. You had enough hours of recovery. And then it was a little bit like what you said about Shane, that he taught you about how to skate on those tracks and stuff. And basically that was also one thing Scott kind of taught me during the race, because he said, we are only two guys, there's no point in fighting in the pack. You just go to the front and I skate behind you, and then we see how long you can go. And basically, I mean, this is kind of my signature move now. Like, that's kind of how I do my elimination. I go.
That's how I learned it also from Shane, and probably also on that kind of tracks, like kind of the snake, like you go up, you have to go down again, roll in, go out.
The snake is exactly the move, and Scott was really like steering me with the hip during that race. A little bit more outside. Okay, now back inside. A little bit faster, a little bit slower. And it was the first time that I was leading a race. I think I brought him until 4 or 5 laps to go from the finish. In the end, he didn't win, but
I remember. I remember. He was in. It was me, Scott, and Jan.
Was it Fabio?
We had to race for
Fabio, I think.
Or Fabio or Jan. Could be Fabio too, for sure. And we were racing, and I was sitting in second, and I was planning to pass, but I was not sure if I was able to pass Fabio. But then Scott made the typical move of going high in the last corner, everybody, and he just went boom down and just threw everything he had. And he went just in front of us, and then I dove right away underneath him, so I passed both of them.
In the end, you won the race, huh?
In the end, I won the race.
Cool.
Well, it was pretty tricky, and was for me actually pretty good that he went down, because he made the way of Fabio a little bit tougher, and that's why I could pass a little bit easier.
Yeah, definitely. For me, that was a big milestone. Like when I realized, hey, I'm capable of going to the front and staying in the front, and that I'm able to lead a lot of laps. And kind of from that moment on, it also became a little bit my role in the team.
And you know what your strength was. Probably,
exactly.
So,
and that's something we both of us kind of profited from a lot, and it's still of kind of the tactic we work with nowadays.
Yeah, for sure.
So that was a
it's a way to take control over the race, and you have to learn it. So, and for me, it was Shane who kind of learned me, and also Marty and Farah how to do that, because we were never used to doing that. As a junior, you don't really have the control as a team yet, and as a first year senior, it was for me pretty helpful to have a guy like Shane who did that for many years before already.
No, and that was the same for me with Scott. And in Germany back then, nobody had an idea about how to skate a parabolic track first, and also no one had an idea about how to control a race, or what's a smart way of positioning yourself, where you can save energy, when you have to move up, and all those basics. They were I guess taught to us from those guys, and that's why it was so important also to have like experienced teammates back then.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, awesome. And we had a question that came in actually several times, Tony, and that was about your new skate. Because you showed your new.
I showed it on Instagram.
Yeah, you showed your new custom boot last week in the story already. Do you have it with you? Can you explain us a little bit?
I got it here.
Awesome.
Here it is. Yes.
Oh, look at this.
So first of all, it looks really cool. Of course, I'm happy with the colors. Was actually getting the colors was not so easy, because. The idea behind the boot was to make it as light as possible. So that's why it's called ultra light. And then at the end, Sergio, he asked me, what kind of colors do you want? And I first said, I want full white boots because I had the idea of world champion boots with the stripes, of course. And then he told me, well, if you have black, it's 3 grams per boot lighter. Really? So I thought, okay, let's go for black because the goal of the boot is to go as light as possible.
The whole concept of the ultralight is obviously to take Sergio Mercado, that's our custom boot maker from Powerslide, to take his custom boot and take everything off which is not really necessary and try to make it as light as possible.
Yeah, so for me the biggest difference and the thing that for me makes the most out of the feeling that's different is the upper. So the upper now, before Sergio had everywhere reinforcements so that you cannot break or it's not gonna break the leather when you tied it. But now he took away in parts that the reinforcement is not necessary. So for example, when you push here, it's a lot more flexible. And because of that, I have the feeling you can tight your boot a lot more and have more the feeling of the whole boot. And before, this was pretty stiff.
Yeah, it's a really wrap around the foot feeling, I think.
Yeah,
that's really helpful. Yeah.
That's something I really like a lot. So then you have even more the feeling that it's fully custom of your foot. Another thing that he changed was, of course, we want the boot as light as possible, but we don't want to lose the stiffness because that's one of the typical things of Sergio's boot. For sure, all sprinters like Edwin and Munoz, they love the boots because they're so stiff. But to make the carbon lighter, you don't want to use as much as carbon. So that's why he came up with this, beautiful, beautiful. And it's also here you have carbon reinforcements. Also, it's going all the way to the back, and then here, and it's really a piece of art. It's beautiful.
Beautiful work.
And I think the both of us, in the beginning of last season, we were thinking, okay, we want to make it better and we want to improve the boot and look at the competition and where can we go even lighter. And I think this is a result of it. I remember sitting here at my table and taking one of my older pairs of Sergio and just with a knife and trying to cut everything off that's not necessary and show him like, okay, can we do this and can we do that, and I showed you pictures the result is also pretty impressive. This boot is exactly 215 grams and the other one was 412, I think, so it's almost 100 grams lighter
per boot. That's so
per
impressive.
boot, every boot. And you know, and most of the people know who, if you switch from 110 to 125, the first feeling you have is, okay, it's lighter. We only have 3 wheels now, and before we had 4, and that's one of the things that I really love about the 125. And now you can have the same feeling just switching from the boot. So if you just if I go from my old pair towards this, it's already the same difference in weight because a wheel is around 150 grams, but of course a bigger wheel is a little bit heavier, so the difference between 110 and 125 is around 100 grams. So that's for me it's kind of a game changer, and I think it's gonna be really, really nice to have still a boot that as stiff as the one from Sergio, but
definitely. I mean, the idea, you kind of came up with the idea, and then at the World Championship in Barcelona, you, me, Sergio, and Matthias, we all sat together and were kind of brainstorming and collecting ideas, and and now to see the result and how beautiful it looks and how great Sergio was able to put it into practice, that's just great.
Yeah, that's for sure. And because we had some ideas, and for example, the upper, I think that makes also a huge difference, came from Matthias, and we had the idea about the lightness, and then Sergio just put it all together, and now we got this. So it's pretty
awesome. Awesome. I can't wait to get mine. Obviously, it got a little bit delayed due to the whole Corona situation, but I think it's just a matter of a couple of weeks, and then I should have my
I hope you have it
Cargo Super Light as well. And already looking forward to hear from you when you had a couple of skates in them. And
yes, for sure, I'll tell you.
Awesome.
I still have to thank you because I was waiting for them already a month because of the Corona virus, and apparently they were at Powerslides, but nobody could ship them, and you did it for me. So and that was perfect. Like I really was so happy when they arrived.
I was also happy that it worked so fast and so well. And as I said, I'm really looking forward to hear about your first impressions when you actually skate them. And hopefully kind of get an idea about how big of a performance improvement it is. I mean, it's always hard to put a number on it, but anyways.
That's also always hard, and especially also with boots, it's you have to get used to them. But yeah, for me, the first feeling is, I'm really hard with boots, so it's really hard for me to change from boot. Some people can do it every year. For me, most of the time it takes like 5 or 6 years before I change, because only if they're broken I'm gonna change. But this boot now, I tried it many times now before. Tomorrow I can skate on it properly. Awesome. But the first feeling, the first fit, I think it has never been as good as now. So I'm really looking forward.
That's a good start. That's a very good start.
Yeah.
No, I'm excited to find out more. And in general, custom boots are a really personal and a really tricky thing.
Yeah.
Because it's not only about making a stiff boot. You don't want just to have a block of carbon on your feet. It really needs to be stiff at the right places. At the same time, you need to still be able to feel your wheels and feel the frame and feel the ground. Skating is about balance, about feeling, and the boot plays such an important role in there. That's why I can really understand when you find the right pair for you, which works for you, that you not gonna want to change it. Often because I take also custom boot molds for Powerslide, and then when I talk to customers. You often hear, especially like from older skaters or from master skaters, they think completely different to us about custom boots. Like they are more thinking about comfort, and all we are thinking about basically is performance. So it's like a race car. It's not comfortable. It's not like laying on the sofa, sitting on the sofa. Like, all we need is 1 hour, and it needs to be as light, as stiff, and as fast as possible. And that's what I think Sergio really understands with us, and what he can do really well for us. If you touch our boots, there's almost no padding at all. It's basically just carbon and a little bit of leather. But obviously really made for our own feet, so it's still as comfortable as it can be. And really happy with how his work developed over the years, and
for sure.
Just looking forward to receiving my pair finally.
I can imagine.
I got a couple of other questions as well, and cool. One of them which I found cool was now that the 24 hours of Le Mans are cancelled this year, and we've both done it in the past several times actually. We were asked if we are coming back next year or one other year, and if we plan to come back to Le Mans in general. And maybe you have to have something to share about that.
I have to go back. I made a promise with the boss of Powerslide, Matthias Knoll. Actually, the promise came when we were racing in Le Mans so many years ago. He did the duo together with Scott, and they didn't finish, I think. So Matthias was looking for a better teammate, I guess. And I told him I will do it when the duo, so me together with Matthias, if I get an Olympic medal. Was before 2018, of course.
Actually, quite a bit before, right?
Yeah, it was 2015. Yeah, like probably. So yeah, that's now I have to do it. So I made the promise. The medal happened, and so I will be back one day to do the duo. Sooner or later, it will be me and Matthias at the start line, and we'll do 24 hours with the two of us. So it's gonna be special.
You got to get ready for quite some long shifts there. But
I think the food will be the hardest. Like eating and sleeping. I've done Le Mans before, but I was usually the guy with the most luxury, and I could go sleep from 12 to 8
in the camper van.
In the camper van, yeah. So I had a perfect bed, and that's gonna be different the next time I'm there. But it will be really fun, especially with the guys Matthias. And
that's true.
It's something for the future.
Yeah, Le Mans. I think in general, it's a great party. It's a great experience for all skaters. Obviously, it's for me it's a huge challenge. Pascal Briand was just saying the duo is not hard, but I don't know. I've done it a couple of times in a team of 10, and just as you said, the restriction of sleeping and always like going full gas for one lap, which is around 4 kilometers or something like this, I think. And then again a break, and then boom, straight out, and also in the night.
That was the hardest for me.
No warm up or anything like this.
No.
It's
or like you had like 45 minutes break, so you don't really have a cool down. You're not really warming up again for the 6th time. So you just have to go every hour, one lap full, 6-7 minutes. It's hurting so much. But it's really fun to do, and it's a great experience, and especially you have so many skaters around you. And I remember back in the years when we had with Powerslide the wheels that make light.
The photons.
Those pictures, the pictures are beautiful with the photons, and from 12 at night, or when the sun is coming up and you're skating there, it's an amazing feeling. Awesome. So I want to go back for sure.
Obviously. Yeah, me too. I mean, that's basically answers the question. I don't know if it will be next year or whenever, but Le Mans is definitely on the list, and a challenge like the duo for me, at some point I have to do it. Maybe not while I'm racing full gas myself, but I think that's something for the midlife crisis.
Maybe we should do it together. You do it with Matthias, and me with
Matthias,
you with Scott, and then we can
partner.
see.
Oh god, that would be even a bigger challenge, I think, than to race each other.
And then we have to race also. Wow.
No, cool one. I got another question, and that was if we wouldn't be inline skating and ice skating professionally, which other sport would we like to do, or what would we do as professional athletes?
For me, I think I'm living in Belgium, and cycling is really big in Belgium. So I think I would be cycling.
I think you would be a good cyclist too. Yeah,
would be very cool, I think. But now I'm super happy being an ice skater, and it's really my passion. And when sometimes people ask me if I wouldn't be good at cycling or would like to switch or something, but I don't see, like, the beauty of our sport is every day it's something different. So for ice skating, for inline skating, most of the time you train twice a day, and one training is ice skating or inline skating. But the other part is weights, is going on the bike, is doing plyometrics, doing skating jumps. It's so much change in your training program compared to. No, it doesn't get boring compared to cyclists every day. At least 3 hours on the bike, most of the time 5 or 6. It's a different game. So
that's true.
I don't know if I'm able to handle that kind of
lifestyle
monotone training.
I think because I have a couple of friends who are professional cyclists, and for me it's also about the traveling, because I think we travel a lot, but for those guys it's crazy. They maybe like 300 days of the year on the road, and always or often in shitty hotels, and not seeing their families much, not staying at home much.
No.
And as you said, it really gets into a work routine. Instead of going to the office, they're sitting 6 hours on the bike, and that can get pretty grim, I guess. And
I think so.
yeah,
too.
still, I would also answer cycling, just because I train it so much, and I love cycling, and there's obviously also a lot of nice things about it. And I don't know if I would be good. Probably would shed off some weight,
so.
but
For sure.
but
but if you train 6 hours a day, it will go off.
quite quickly. I guess so too. So that shouldn't be the biggest problem. So then I had also a question about our episode from last week, and that was about the finish of the elimination race last year. And if I could show that picture again.
This one, yeah.
And
cool,
it's a nice picture. Not the best outcome for us or for myself.
Yeah, we had the overall. I think.
I mean, we were
really
racing for the overall.
nice.
That's true. But I'm the guy in the blue, obviously. Bart is the one in the white in the World Champ suit, and in the middle is Diogo Mareiros, Portuguese skater, and he won that race by a couple of centimeters. And basically that was the question about the outcome of that race. And so I think that's answered now. And then he also asked us for old pictures, because we said we were always skating between races. We were always skating in the half pipes with our speed skates. Unfortunately, I couldn't
I don't
find,
have picture of that
I
either.
couldn't find any of those pictures, but still nice memories and good memories about those times. There was always a lot of fun, and that was it from my questions. If you don't have any,
I didn't find any. No,
have any.
No, I didn't have any questions. I think.
Okay.
I'm gonna recheck.
Then maybe now we take the opportunity to explain a little bit about the future of the race report. And basically it's our 5th episode now. We always did those episodes live on the Powerslide Instagram, and then you were able to watch it afterwards on YouTube. And Bart and me, we don't want to disappear completely, but we will not. We will not do those live shows.
I think also because the big races, usually this is also like a moment for us to. We don't see each other usually next weekend, and then some other races are coming. But this is actually also for us like one big part of the first part of the season, and Heerde is usually the last big event of the Spring Classics. I think now with the race reports, this is a nice moment to switch from format. I think.
Yeah, exactly. So as we said, we don't want to stop. We will just change the format a little bit, and we already have our first VIP guest planned for the next episode. We will not.
Gonna be a very special guest.
Very special guy. We kind of did a little bit of a test run yesterday.
Well, actually, it's supposed to be already this session. This episode was supposed to be already something different, something new with our guest. We really liked that session so much, and that's why we plan to do it more in the future. The only problem with last session was that Felix, he forgot to put the mic on. So we've been talking with our special guest for 1 hour without any recordings. But we will do it again.
And luckily
for next week.
He's such an awesome guy that he says, "Hey guys, no problem. it was a fun talk, and we just do it again. So all of you, you can be looking forward to news of Bart and me with our special guest. And you will be able to find it on YouTube, and maybe we will also put some snippets of it on the Instagram or something like this. Anyways, just follow us, and you will not gonna miss it. And I just want to say thanks again, Swingsy. For those 5 Sundays, for those 5 episodes. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was really fun.
I think we shared lots of interesting insights. At least that's the feedback I got over the last couple of weeks, that people really appreciate what we are doing here, and that we take the time to share so many personal stories, informations, and so on. And as we said,
for me it was also really a lot of fun to go back to those memories and to relive it a little bit towards these race reports. So it was really a lot of fun.
All right. Then thanks for all the views and for all the questions, and keep them coming, because I think we will always
we'll be answering more.
We will always take some time to answer your questions in the next episodes. And just stay posted, follow us on our Instagrams, and then you're not gonna miss the next episode. Swings, thanks a lot, and enjoy the rest of your Sunday
evening,
and already looking forward to the next talk. See you soon.
Me too.
Bye bye.
See you. Bye.